Okay, I think we're back. OBS. Huh. They call it open broadcasting software, but it sure just closed on me. You know? Anyway, that means we've got 26 points at the end of that game to Yikes and Geordie. If you didn't catch it, I don't know exactly where the stream cut off. So I'll throw those in. And they are currently, oh, not 260. Good lord. So I'll throw 26 points in. And they are currently looking real good. We'll throw to a quick break. It's going to be about 5 minutes, and we'll be back with game number 2. That's a solid performance for Yikes and Geordie out of game 1, but One Rain was able to run it way down. So he'll be quite happy. When we return in about 5 minutes, there will be 3 more chances for the other teams to come out on top and add up their numbers. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back after this.
keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement that explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yes. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't.
Welcome back. We are about to head into game number 2. I have been joined by my longtime friend Dominic here on the cast. And we
Hi, everyone.
just got the button going live, so we're good to go.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into the second game. First game, very close match that was honestly hard to tell who was going to win, and even then, only about 16 points on the board. So, in the second match, I'm curious how we're going to see things change up.
Yeah, one of the things that blew my mind in that game 1 was just how long One Rain was able to hold the line, as it were. We did, of course, end with a victory to Yikes. According to the rules, that means that Yikes and Jordy got 26 points, as that was how much HP they had left in their bag. So, over the course of these next 3 games, they need to, the other teams, that is, want to be able to win with a differential more than 26 in order to add up and take first place.
I'm curious how they're going to try to approach that, though, because we saw, like, last game, at first the Demon Punisher combo didn't really work out, and then it just, One Rain figured
clicked.
it out. It just, like, once they got a couple 3-stars, a couple of the princes, it just ended up completely tearing everything apart.
Thing I'm paying attention to, Komodo and Absolute dropped real fast in that game 1. I want to see if they can maybe turn things round. Right off the bat, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of synergy in either of their compositions. Actually, that's a lie. Absolute gets himself this double rider setup with double goblin, double synergy for double the fun. So that'll be working quite well for him.
That is something I do quite like. I mean, Ryder, I don't know if it's something just early in the game's meta, but I would say Ryder is definitely, I found, the strongest composition, at least early game.
If you really think I can do, I hope I can be of help.
Oh, sorry, you're having a little bit of issues getting into the spectate mode. Make sure you're using the friends list from the top of the home menu, not the friends list on the side of the home menu.
Oh.
They're a little bit different. I don't know why, but they are.
Okay, that is wonky.
That sorted you out? Great.
Yep.
Okay, I could tell you were connecting because my game briefly disconnected. Here's a fun experiment, because I don't know how this works. What time are you currently at in-game on the top right corner?
It doesn't say, it's still loading.
Oh, alright. Let me know when you get it, because I'll be real curious.
Damn it.
Man with Glass
Damn it, Tencent, make your games work on Nox.
loses here to Yikes, and this is fun to watch because you can see Yikes leveraging a whole bunch of the early Everbloom damage. Everbloom is a lot of fun because she scales like no other. Of course, her ability is she summons these devouring plants. You can see them back there. And they have very little HP, but they do an absolute ton of damage if you let them stay on the board. And of course, if she's a 3-star Everbloom, if she's got a whole bunch of items, and she's sitting in the back of the game for a real long time, the damage adds up real fast. Let's take a look at how much she did that last round. 4k. It's not bad at all.
The one thing that we were talking in the last game, or you were talking about last game, is the fact that this is still not quite a sorcerer, but still definitely a kind of a scaling hero in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But we are seeing the fact that Yikes is going for druids is curious. Clearly trying to get that early game scaling just and try to win right off the bat.
Yeah, I actually really like this because you have the benefits of that complete druid comp while still being able to do quite a lot of early game damage. So the evergreens, these frontline tanks that come from the druids, work real well because they act as frontline tanks while still doing a surprising amount of damage. Then behind them you have the Witch Doctor to keep them healed up, and you have the evergreen to do the damage. Witch Doctors actually don't sneer at their damage. It's like not bad during the early game. But what they're going to do together, of course, because there's 3 of them, is that gets you the level 2 druid buff, which makes it that much easier to level up the characters.
Which I'm curious to see what happens. And also the Witch Doctor, to point out, last game we didn't really see that many of them, and it's going to be quite the game changer because of that healing ability.
Mm-hmm. None of the Witch Doctors...
we didn't see Witch Doctor, we didn't see Ice Tusk.
That's a good point. None of the Witch Doctors survived the mid-game. They were all kind of dropped down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's...
Yikes, I don't know. They are starting off very strong.
Let's draw our eyes towards the bottom of this card, though, because Inri and Vital are at the bottom of the board again. Really kind of struggling over the course of this invitational so far, and you can see that things aren't getting any better for Inri at least. He's got 3x on the elf buff, but he clustered his troops in that back corner and then got matched, unfortunately for him, against a whole bunch of sorcerers that are just going to add up and do a whole bunch of damage into your tightly packed backline forces. Frost Lotus loves when you bring all your boys together, because there's so much AoE, and Inri, with only that first level on the elf buff, only has a 25% chance to dodge. And that's not enough into AoE damage, because the AoE damage, of course, ignores the elf buff. You want to be able to see the late game. You want to be able to see the elves play into assassins, things that are trying to directly hit them.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing too, though, is that it's like Einri, they do have that setup, but I feel like Elf in general, it's just not a great early game setup because you have the dodge, sure, but you have so little HP that unless you get super lucky, you're going to be torn apart. We're seeing right now with Absolute just coming in with these scourges, and there's nothing stopping them. Yeah, dodge happens from time to time, but 25% chance to dodge even, it's just not enough when you have this much damage to try to dodge in the process.
Poor Henry. Run over. Trampled by the Hot Horseman. So, Absolute comes out on top there. That was, of course, him. Although it, for some reason, wasn't displaying on the versus column. Absolute on his screen is currently losing to Man with Glass. So, oof, but by 1 HP, so he'll be fine. Let's take a look at Vital, because he's actually got the lowest HP on the board. He has...
and also going for a Cyborg comp, too.
Mm.
Cyborg Engineer, that's another one I just find... It's so tempting to go for, because it is... Like, it does seem really strong when you look at it. It's like, oh, I got his HP, got his regeneration, got all this armor and such. It's like, yeah, but you can't really build much off of it early on.
I was looking at
they have the level 2 Mr. Personic.
I was playing with the cyborgs earlier today, and I have to say, I am convinced they are useless. I think the Supersonic, Miss Supersonic actually does alright, but past the early game where they're functional as tanks, I don't believe in them at all. So, if Vital wants to turn things round, I think he really needs to be able to transition to something else fast. 54 HP currently, the lowest on the board.
Yeah, I keep Mr. Personic. I mean, Stalker Drone S90, level 3 does, or level 2 rather, can work fairly well because the laser splits off and does pseudo AoE damage, but I don't think Viral's going to survive long enough for that to actually be useful, to be quite honest. They're so invested in cyborgs, I don't know how they're going to swap out of it.
Can I complain about how often the game is like giving me micro disconnects?
No, I mean, yes, actually, I'm getting that too. I don't know what the heck's going on here.
It's like it's not even affecting anything. It's just making it real hard to look at things.
It's also every time you switch over to another player, it does that.
Yeah. Jordy, top of the card here. This is fun because this is Beast and Druid. If I'm not mistaken, he's got one Warlock out as well. So they're going to do a lot of damage. They're a little bit short on frontline, but he's actually getting past that by Yikes, who's handing him that 2-star Ice Tusk. That's the frontline that's getting past to him, but it's not enough here. He gets overwhelmed by absolute Scourges.
And absolutely, let's just go back to that composition, because it's like 1 Demon, 3 Riders. You wouldn't think on paper that it would be the most powerful thing, but so far, Absolute is really making it work. Just the 2 Scourges on top of the Hog Rider, I guess. Yeah, and then the Unicorn Cavalier adding a little bit of AoE. Everything's just adding that little bit of extra synergy just off damage. Ooh.
Did he just make big changes?
Yeah, went for a Firefur instead, which at this stage, I'm not sure how it's going to work out. If they manage to get one for level 2 quickly, that'll be great. But like Firefur is great for the AoE. Again, and just more of a line AoE, but still a very useful unit to have. However, wow, this is
That's a level
risky.
1 Firefur. That's not a level 2.
It is. It's not going to last long enough to be able to do the damage.
So he's getting past, actually, we've been maybe misattributing it, because Komodo's passing him his level 2 Scourge and his level 2 Cyborg Assassin. But yeah, you just see, with a little bit less frontline based on those changes he made, they just get overrun. That is not enough.
Yeah, that level 2 Hog Rider is super useful. Like that, seriously.
So,
I don't know why they swapped that out.
He sold the Cavalier, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Looks, well, one of them, yeah.
So, okay. Hard question. Why? Because now he's
And
getting...
one of the Scourges, too.
Yeah. So now he's losing a whole bunch of that... Oh, and he's gone double Cyborg?
I think I know what's happening. Look at the numbers, though. Like, Absolute and Einry both doing this. It looks like they're trying to go for high gems, getting the extra income.
It's just a case of saving, burning to try and get the extra interest gems?
And doing a little bit of rerolls, yeah.
I'm not sure I believe. So he's ended up, at the end of all that, with Cyborg and Engineer as where Absolute's going. And that was actually the composition we were criticizing before, so I'm pretty upset by that shift. Maybe the logic was that his partner's doing pretty well with that Cyborg Assassin, so he wants to be able to build off of it. But losing all those riders in exchange for that just absolutely doesn't add up to me.
I'm the shadow in the forest.
I mean, at least that does give them the extra Cyborg to work with, but again, unless... No, I mean, 6 Cyborg maybe, because you get everyone getting the buff. Just that random ally element.
I'm not
I
a
agree
fan
with you,
of
I really
the
do not believe in
decisions
it.
being made. Yeah. He's
we're gonna see Man with Glass punish that hard. Nightingale
Man
should
with
be able to get
Glass.
back in there and just rip everything to pieces.
You're a little bit ahead of me. There's the
Oh, am I?
Man with Glass draft appearing on my screen just now. And you can see it absolutely demolished the backline. There's the Nightingale shredding a lot of the mana charge on some of the more scary front lines, and he just gets nothing going. Let's pass things over to Inri, if you don't mind. Because we've been putting an awful lot of focus on Absolute, but Inri is currently in the most danger of being eliminated, at the very bottom of the card.
And also, I want to point out, I've noticed this coming in from Inri and mostly Inri, but it seems like it's one of those things some people do early game. Iron's doing a little bit as well, is this corner setup, which I kind of get because it's easiest to defend. You only have to worry about keeping the front line on 3 sides of your back line. But we're seeing so many AoEs, and it's clearly not working especially well. Though Einri, more so the issue here being they simply don't have the upgrades. Should be able to get maybe a level 2 Moonlight Dragon if they decide to do the upgrade. But still, it's so behind.
So they've got a decent amount of sorcerer damage. That's of course ability based, which is the problem for Einri. Those abilities need to land and do big AoE before he gets just overrun like this. As Jordy does exactly that. He's dropped to just 9 HP. He needs a little bit more of a frontline. I can see him deliberating. He had a Frost Lotus and an Evergreen. And he'd opted to put the 2-star Frost Lotus in over the 1-star Evergreen. You might say to me, TJ, of course. But I feel in this specific scenario, he should have gone for the Evergreen, this big hulking tank boy, for 2 reasons. 1, a little bit more HP. 2, it would have given him the elf buff, and the elf buff there gives him a 25% chance of dodging every single attack. I believe it's 25, yeah. 25 on the level
It's
1.
for the elves.
For the elves.
The elves get that.
Which comprises his entire front line, save for this Calamity. So, he needs those front lines to be staying alive a little bit too long right now.
Well, if they survive this, they will at least have 73 mana crystals to get into. It's just a question of will they survive this? And it looks like that Evergreen shift is working out.
Yeah, there's
Not
the
to
Evergreen
mention,
I
the
called
Bionics
for.
Ninja going in the back lines, making it a little bit harder for anything to come into the splash damage. So we are actually seeing Einri possibly take it, but it's
Oh,
holding.
this is
I
dicey.
don't know, it's getting close.
This is real
It is
dicey.
very
'cause
dicey.
You can see that damage adding up from their backline over on one right. He has so many just summons coming through. It barely goes his way. The dodges really pay dividends there. You can even see on the final drag. So, Einri counts as lucky stars. That keeps him in the game. The dodges work fantastic. What's
But of course, now
Vital
they need
doing?
to use that money. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
I have 60 crystals coming in here. Like, man, I hope they have something good.
So, the big thing, of course, once you hit 50 crystals, you are at maximum interest. You're getting 10 crystals per round, and that's sick. So he's going to want to try and stay above 50 crystals as much as possible. But if he feels he's about to lose, then you got to just burn him. Here's Man with Glass to face. He's got a lot of backline. So, this has
And that
gotta add
backline
up.
is working out. I mean, you have the Everbloom, you have the Frost Lotus, and everything's all clumped up for Komodo, so there's really not much Man with Glass can do to screw this up. They got everything going for them.
Poor
Ogred
Einri.
holding the front line as well.
About
the
to
healing.
lose here. The Frost Lotus? Maybe that's a turn? 1 Frost Lotus versus 3. That damage isn't going to add up. Does this kill him?
Oof.
Barely not.
No. Not quite, but it is dangerous. Einri with 5 HP left, and I've got a lot of
But-
crystals, but I would say, like, this is the point to just burn them.
I know you're sitting in a great place right now. Maybe save one more round because it's unlikely you lose to these wolves. So maybe you play it safe. But if you don't get anything nice in these next 2 draws that you feel significantly changes the odds, then you burn on reroll as much as you need to get at least a 3-star on the board. Maybe you burn to this level 7. You have to solve this problem, Einri, because you have 5 HP, and if you don't feel you have an overwhelming advantage in every fight you're taking, you will lose.
Well, Frostbolts are definitely going to be a thing to at least set that up. I'm just curious, though, what other compositions there are. I mean, we have Man with Glass again going for Demon Punisher, though now shifting off Elf as well. Komodo looks to be going primarily Rider with some demons on top. We have Absolute continuing with the Cyborgs. I mean, I guess it's working for them okay, but they're 23 HP, so okay is a strong
23
word.
HP is a stretch there for okay.
They're not dead yet.
Get back here.
And then-
I'll bite you.
Jordy, I'm kidding. Jordy and Yikes, though, at least with the beasts,
Yeah.
that's
Jordy and Yikes
The only thing they
always
have.
seem to just have this sorted out. I love their passing play as well. They always have good synergy between each other. Okay. Focus on in-rate. 5 HP. Our candidate to lose, our first candidate to drop. Vital and in-rate aren't on the board. The only team that is, of course, is Jordy and Yikes.
And that may remain the case as we're seeing now Einri going up against Irene, managing to at least hold on with the Evergreen reasonably well, but we should start seeing those abilities come in there. The fish. The
This has
fish
gotta work
Evergreen
out.
not actually made a big deal.
Nicely done.
Backline's still alive. Frostlow is able to do everything he needs to do, and getting how much damage did they manage to get onto Irene there?
Irene barely survives his engagement, but you can see Irene doing a really, really good job with those Frost Lotus. That's what saved him there. And Absolute goes
absolutely.
down. I actually missed Absolute falling. He had 23 HP. He must have lost pretty devastatingly. Did you catch who killed him?
I did not, unfortunately. It looks... Yeah, very hard to tell, I'm afraid.
It's unfortunate.
But also Komodo now down to 3 HP.
Uh-huh.
Komodo with a bit of a maybe better composition than Einri, at least in terms of numbers and buffs, but I think like the positioning is not working out. It's almost all frontline. We got
Almost.
no AoE to work with. Just a bunch of riders and hoping for the best.
Almost all frontline. All right, I'm on Komodo's POV. Let's watch this play out. Him and Einri both on death's door. Komodo will have the front line hold, but you can see that Frost Lotus ult just chew away. This is it. There's no way you survive that, good friend. He's gone. Einri, in the meantime, does win his turnout. 3-star Everbloom coming out from Yikes, but he somehow comes out on top.
Oof. And also Viral getting hit hard by Irene, getting knocked down to 6 HP. So very rapidly, Irene Viral just looking pretty sketchy right now.
It's a rough time to be on that side. Komodo and Absolute both off the board now. Both finished for the second game in a row with 0 HP.
And it looks like this game is going a hell of a lot faster than the last time too. Like we have Yikes and Jordy are wow. Okay, well already Jordy with a level 3 Everbloom and a level 3 Evergreen.
They
So
snowballed
definitely going
hard
hard
this
for
time.
that sorcery or that magic, but
Look at how many crystals they have as well.
oh wow! I mean, no kidding, they can get to level 3 that early. But now against Einri, and this is the moment of truth for Einri's composition, and able to get rid of that back line at the very least. This Venom,
Yeah,
no,
the
that
battle-
was
the
going to the back
battle's
line.
just
Didn't manage to do
started.
much of anything.
The battle's just started on my screen, so I'll keep an eye on it
Oh.
here. That's a lot of damage from those Frost Lotus, but it's not adding up. This could be it for Einri, and I think it will be. He's shut down. Vital does survive. His cyborgs live to fight another day, but he is the last representative of his team.
Did a good job though. Took Mammoth Glass down from 24 HP to 2 HP, putting Mammoth Glass into likely the next position to die. But it could very well be both Viral and Man with Glass and going next round.
Yeah, so just the lead that Jordy and Yikes have right now is terrifying. Man with Glass, I think. Yeah, I think Man with Glass is just being saved by One Rain's passing play for now. There's Vital burning everything he can to try and get some on the board, but can't get anything out, and he's versus One Rain. That's maybe a better odds than he would have hoped for. Good pressure in.
Maybe.
The cyborgs
I'm
doing
glad to see
good
that they
damage.
have the Stalker drone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the damage adds up against him. Look at those mages just pop off. Viral gone as well, and the Viral Inri team is removed. Man with Glass.
Yep.
Oh.
Dark Mage. Oh, also dead.
Mm-hmm.
Mammoth Glass
Wiped
going down to
him.
Yikes. I know Irene, the last one alive who's not Yikes or Jordy, as Yikes and Jordy. This is like 2 rounds worth of wins for health for them right now.
Yeah, One Rain. This is complete deja vu from the last game. One Rain, the last man alive, and over 100 HP between them. Over on Yikes and Jordy. They could get so many points if One Rain doesn't hold on. But that's exactly what I said last time.
Last time, though, One Rain had more HP and a bit more of a
Last time,
board.
the combined HP of Jordy and Yikes added up to about 104. This time, it's 161. To go from 26 points to 161 would be very, very good, to say the least.
Well, 26 points to, what, 180? 187, I think?
187. Would be their total score count if they win without losing another point to One Rain. So we'll sit on One Rain's perspective, because his win-losses are what's important right now. Other players may win against him on their screens, but him succeeding or losing is what costs him his HP.
Mm-hmm. Although I find it interesting, last game we saw near the end, we were seeing a lot of spread on the board. This game, everyone's just been clumping up. No one's really afraid of AoE.
Which is fascinating, because I feel like we have more mages in play than ever.
And everything's been built around the Frost Lotus, the Dark Mage. I mean, Dark Mage, it's not so much AoE, it just flies around, but same idea.
Good backline clear. Now the mages come through. Oh, that's not bad at all from One Rain, but I don't know that it's enough. Good Frost Lotus damage as well. His frontline Templar stays strong. He's got it. Nicely done. A shutdown onto the first place Jordy. One Rain stays alive.
So that's 50. Oh, nice. 50. Wow, that's a lot of HP lost.
Mm-hmm.
All between them was about
most of his team
35
stayed up.
HP.
So, ooh, and a level 3 Everbloom for Yikes comes out. Yikes actually has level 4 Druid buff, so he's just upgrading people for free. He's got a frequent flyers discount on the upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about this as a catch-up as a rubber band mechanic, but man, this is a way of getting yourself that powerful setup and round, like 20 rounds in, and you have that many level 3s. That is going to be scary. And now majority, we're seeing how that composition works out. The Evergreen, the Everbloom coming in here, basically destroying everything Irene has. I like that backline Dark Mage, but it's not going to work. The Dark Mage does go down, and Irene simply cannot hold on.
Nope. One Rain cannot.
Or one Rain, my bad.
Yes. It's close.
22 HP, though.
22 HP. I'll take your word for it. It takes a moment to take through on my screen.
Right. Although it looks like Yikes lost their fight from their perspective. Yeah, they did.
Nice. So Yikes takes a hit as well. Nobody wins.
So 107. 107 HP left for Yikes and Jordy. Irene maintains a reasonably good position. Gets another slot. And get a level 2 Lightbringer. Oh, that is going to help a bunch. Are we seeing a change in positioning? Yes, we're seeing Yikes spread out. Finally respecting the AoE.
Mm-hmm. That'll help him out a bit. One Rain. Oh. What was just sold? He gets a Gumu at the last moment. Oh! He didn't make the trade in time, but he has an extra big backline sorcerer if he can survive this round with 22 HP. It's not impossible. He just dies here, but the mage damage looks to be adding up. He's against Yikes' newly spread out lineup, avoiding the AoE damage, but it's not enough as he's not able to get into the backline quickly enough. Now it's just 3 stars versus a cluster of 2 stars. And the mage snipes look to be too strong.
And that Dark Mage coming in there, it's doing the job. The Everbloom held on nicely, and the summons did great, but as we mentioned before, it's all a matter of how long those summons can stay alive and actually become a big threatening force, which, well, that's not what happened.
My god, those late game holds, by the way. One Rain
yeah, well, you have
doing
to,
it again. The boy. Just not believing and giving up.
Nope, but it's a question of how well that's going to work out. We do get another slot on the board, and it looks like Irene still kind of struggling when it comes to upgrades. Jordy, on the other hand, got they're on level 3, can't see the board at all. What's going on, game?
I'll tap over to One
level
Rain's
3
POV.
True Witch Doctor.
Uh-oh.
Top of everything else.
Mages add up, but he's still struggling with that front line. They're going down quite fast. It looks like there isn't... Oh, that's a big Frost Lotus! One character survives for One Rain, and it is enough.
It's enough, but it only takes a little bit of damage. Jordy, on the other hand, lost quite significantly, losing 15 HP in the process.
He's literally doing it again. Somebody report One Rain. This is absurd. 2 games in a row. And he's...
I mean, I don't know, because the thing is, we were talking about this earlier, like sorcerer buff, and we are seeing the sorcerer. It's level 2 sorcerer buff, so magic res down by 60. This is the late game composition you were talking about, TJ. It's just once you get it set up, then it goes hard because you have all this synergy.
He only has 6 crystals in the bank. But ideally, he's rolling for 2 more Void Destructions. If you can get them, of course, that would be a level 3 Void Destruction, which would be a real big deal for him.
I'm not entirely confident they can do that, though. I mean, Void Destructions, as they are, already like 4 crystals.
Yeah, pretty rare.
So just getting that in the first place would be challenging.
He's also trying to look for an extra Frost Lotus, and that's Yikes' POV. What's interesting to me about Yikes is he's got 2-Horned Menace on the bench. And I'm not entirely sure why he would be looking for that. Unless he's just thinking that he should make a switch to Assassin. They would fulfill his
Assassin, so he can swap
buff.
out.
They would fulfill his Beast buff, but they would drop away his Human or his Druid buff. Perhaps towards the late game, he just doesn't think that's a big deal. Here's One Rain's POV again, this time versus Jordy. He's got to be able to turn this round. Uh-oh. Jordy just overwhelming him here. There's the AoE damage coming through. Those mages need to turn the tables, and they do, but it's not quite enough damage. That should be game, and it is. We finish with 36 and 35 HP, respectively, on that duo team again, leaving their total point count at 71 for the game, plus 26. That's 97 points for the leaders of Yikes and Jordy.
So at this point, Yikes and Jordy just ahead enough that another team would have to essentially win undamaged in order to be able to contest it.
Yeah. Well, there are still 2 games. We're halfway there.
True.
So there is an opportunity to turn things around. I understand you need to take a step away. Thank you very much for coming in the last moment and saving me here.
You're welcome. But yeah, it's getting kind of late. So
we'll go to a quick break.
I do have work tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll go to a quick break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the second and third games of the Co-op Clash Invitational presented by Premier Gaming. Don't go far. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first Co-op Clash Invitational. I guess that's what this is. My name's TJ, now joined by Devil Heroes, expert chess rush player in his own right. And we're about to kick off Game 3 of 4 of this exhibition match. Of course, as a recap of the rules, you start things off by playing the game. When the winning team wins, we take the combined HP of that winning team, and we use that as their point count. Right now, Yikes and Jordy have won both games so far, and their combined HPs over the course of those two games come out to 97 points, which is formidable to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely, TJ. If you actually, Jordy and Yikes have actually been playing this game a lot. They're, I think they're like number 3 and 4 on the NA leaderboard. So they've put in the work, and they deserve to have the results they've been getting. You know, I'm proud of what they're doing.
I've really felt like they're almost a step ahead in terms of their composition transfer, if that makes sense. Because we're seeing a lot of these other players, it feels like, have something that works during the early game, or have something that works during the late game, and struggle to bridge the gap between the two. Whereas the really good players, and Yikes and Jordy have been demonstrating this, can almost flow between the two positions. You have something like a Cyborg, like an Ice Tusk, that is going to do real well during the early game, and then they're able to have a transition point at the mid-game where they're a melded mixed comp and they have like 18 buffs, and that gets them to a very, very focused late game, which wins them everything.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're playing this game, you need to, like you said, you need to be fluid. When I'm playing with my partner, we're usually discussing. We get a general feel of what we're going for in the first couple of rounds. You know, we'll communicate if like we have a lot of riders, if we possibly have the Punisher buff, you know, and then from there, even then, you know, around round 10, it's still possible that you'll be swapping comps. You know, you're moving from those Ice Tusk and stuff to your riders or Punishers or sorcerers even, right? So you need to be communicating with your partner. You need to constantly be swapping out buffs, because there's minor buffs like Warlock buffs that can change with just one piece, right? So you're always changing pieces, always talking with your partner, and you can tell that Jordy and Yikes are doing that, while some of the lower teams are lacking a little bit on communication. But I think everyone here has a chance of pulling through. You know, no one's been doing too bad, not at all.
One Rain and Man with Glass have been, it feels like, almost brutally cut short a couple times in a row now, as despite their best efforts, despite One Rain's heroic efforts, he's come in second and thus gets no points like 3 games in a row.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And if you watch One Rain's economy, he's above 30 or 40 crystals almost the entire game. So like, it's not chance that he's there. He's doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
It's Yikes and Jordan are on another level.
Can you put your finger on why he keeps ending up pretty solo? Is there anything that's been going specifically wrong with Man with Glass's compositions?
I mean, in the same sort that, you know, One Rain's managing his economy well. Man with Glass certainly isn't doing poorly, you know, but he's not doing as exceptional, you know, as Jordy, Yikes, and One Rain are, right? So if he's able to hold on to his crystals, he'll be able to help One Rain out a little better. And then also, we haven't been able to go for this strategy. Actually, we're jumping into this game, so maybe I'll get into that strategy later. Yeah.
Well, we have a few times in the opening round, so if you have something.
So this is a crazy strategy, which really makes me like co-op. What my partner and I do is we decide who's gonna win the game around round 30, around 20. So if I'm gonna use 2 of his units, what he end up doing when he's around 10 health is he will sell all of his units and search for the 3-star unit that I want. You know what I mean? So maybe we'll get to see Yikes and Jordy do this because they have a little more practice. but there's a lot of crazy strategies that evolve because you're using two chessboards and two role systems, right? And two sets of interests. So you have like uncountable amounts of possibilities, you know? So
One of those uncountable
see.
possibilities just resulted in Yikes getting a 2-star Nightingale on his first round. So
yeah,
I'd like to
two-star
complain about
Nightingale.
that real quick.
And his partner has a cyborg
Two-star
ninja as
cyborg.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a real
so
good
they
start. Let's turn our eyes towards OneRain, who's been a contender many times. He doesn't have any of those lucky RNG draws, instead just going for a pretty standard 4-man setup. I like the amount of flexibility he has. This can go anywhere, but by the same token, it's not really giving him anything yet. He's literally got no status effects. This is a very important round for OneRain. I want to see him build into something.
Yeah. Another thing I haven't seen too many people do yet is if you're leveling up on this round, it gives you like a massive advantage over people because anyone right now who has more than 5 gold should have used their gold to level up because that will give you an extra unit. So you'll have, you know, basically 25% more firepower than anyone else on the board. And
No
so
one,
if you're resting below 10 gold, you're not going to gain interest anyway, so you might as well use your gold.
no one did. A couple
Yeah.
of players did have over 5 crystals. Viral, Man with Glass, Komodo, Absolute, to name all of them. And none of them made that upgrade happen. I was a little bit worried for OneRain headed into that round because he didn't have any buffs. He made a few exchanges, ended up with the Rider buff, but that was not enough, and he's now down to 92 HP off the bat.
Yeah, the rider buff is so strong late, but to be honest, the 2 rider buff is one of the weaker synergies in the entire game, which is a little, you know, you're not used to that because you're so used to rider like everyone's running it, you know. But it's good, you know, it helps, but you know it's not a lot. One really quick intricate thing though is the people with 9 gold though, if they win the round, they get to 10 gold before they get interest. So I think Viral had 9 gold that last round, so he was actually able to get the interest from the round.
From
Very
the 10
very
gold?
nuanced trick. Yeah.
Because
So if you're in,
you get assigned the extra crystal for winning the round before you get the interest calculated.
yes, so basically my rule is if I'm at 1 to 8 star, 1 to 8 crystals in my single digit slot, I will almost always just buy whatever unit is on the board, you know, because I can just sell it the next turn. So you should only be at 9 to 2 crystals in your, or like 9, 0, 1 or 2 crystals, because otherwise you're basically like wasting that extra gold, you know. Because what if the next round you find 2 of those units, you know, you
Yeah.
might be able to just put in a random 2-star. So you know, as we get a little more the player base gets a little more knowledgeable, you know, I hope to see these sort of things. But yeah, you having extra gold that's not giving you interest is it's just not ideal, you know. All right, so let's get into the actual
yeah.
gameplay because we're
What-
starting to heat up.
OneRain
what were you thinking?
has lost almost all of his early rounds, which is real worrying to me. He seems to be turning his attention towards kind of Elf and Rider, rather, as his startup. He just on this round got a Lilith to play the backlines, but he got paired against Yikes, who is an absolute monster. And so that minor upgrade didn't stop all these 2-stars. Now he's the lowest on the card at 77 HP.
Yeah, Jordy and Yikes have 5 2-star units on round 5. That's maybe they've just, I don't think they've just been lucky this whole time, but this round they've
Stop rigging it, Yikes.
Yeah, right? What is going on, Tencent?
They made a deal with Tencent in a back room somewhere to get those sick YouTube views. That's just
exactly.
rolling in dough right now. OneRain, I'm keeping my eye on him because, of course, he has been second place. He has been the closest contender to this winning team so far, and he's really struggling in this game. He just got double Beast, 4 Elf, and 2 Druids, so this will all help a little.
Yeah, that's actually getting. I mean, the elf buff isn't like a great buff, you know, but like he literally had no buffs before this, so that was quite a big upgrade for him. Unfortunately, it's not gonna matter.
No.
But the next thing that I want to say though is if you actually go click on his crystals, One Rain's actually getting the most gold per round out of anyone except Viral because he's getting the 2 bonus gold from a losing streak. So he's trading his HP at the moment for extra crystals. So it's actually not in his best interest to win rounds for probably until he gets to about 40 health. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Because your health is just as much a resource as your crystals are. So like that's a really tough thing to do because it takes a lot of willpower to just lose. You know what I mean? Like nobody likes to lose, but it's a legitimate strategy in this game because of the lose streak.
We'll see if he turns things round. He does have this 2-star Nightingale on the front lines now, and I think that actually is turning things round. So, rip the loss streak.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate actually. So if you're looking at him, it says
or
plus
maybe
9.
oh yes. So that could have gone either way. The supersonic almost
Oh my
turned it.
gosh. The Cavalier is so strong in 1v2s or in like that sort of situation because his attacks bounce back and forth between the units. So anytime you see the Cavalier in that last spot, but just a quick thing. So his crystal count went down from 9 to 7 in that round because he won.
I wanted to. We were kind of. You were talking about this losing streak, using your HP as a resource. That's a very risky strategy because that HP in this game, in this tournament specifically, is your points. So I'm not sure, even though that is a very valid strategy in a tournament or in a normal ranking match, I think in a tournament match where the HP directly counts as your score, I don't think you can do that, or at least you need to be more conscious of it.
When you mention it that way, I have to take back like everything I just said because in this tournament setting, it changes the dynamic of the game. So you really need to be invested. Actually, now that I'm hearing this, I want to see people leveling up on that very first round because you cannot go for this losing strategy, you know,
because they need to catch Yikes and Jordy who currently at 97 points. That means
that is such a good point.
That means they need to be finishing with a lot of HP between them. Here's One Rain currently at 53 HP as he lost that last round. He's almost as low though. Komodo, paired of course with Absolute. And he is actually, I would argue, even worse off in terms of draft. He's got a little bit of a rider thing going, but a lot of two of one character on the bench. He's not quite solidified into anything.
Oh, he just missed his hunter buff. He just picked it up right before that if that drone had gotten in, he would have been able to pick up the hunter buff there. So, you know, this seems like, you know, like an easy game, but like there is like a little bit of micro to it, you know? Like sometimes you got to be quick with your you got to be quick with your fingers sometimes, you know?
His fingers were too slow, down to 48 HP. One Rain also loses his bout this round. That drops him to 39. The two of them locked in a downward spiral, it feels like. Both of them are doing pretty good in terms of crystals. Komodo less so at 11, but both have space to burn. We have a new top card, bears mentioning. Viral currently tearing up this game with Inri. They've been some of the first players out in previous rounds, so the fact that in Game 3 they're still at 100 HP and 85 HP respectively is quite significant.
Yeah, and they're so the furry buff is not my favorite. It's very good like in the first like 2 rounds of PvE. Yeah, but if you can get that 4th furry like early, you get a 2,000 shield on first of all your backline. So any assassins basically don't do anything because the furry sorcerer is like super safe. We'll come to that if he doesn't, but. If he ends up getting the furry sorcerer, but it's not the strongest. I would even say that it's like cyborgs are a little stronger than furries, which is, you know, saying something, as you know.
Of course, the danger is that shield HP is flat. 2,000 HP, real sick, But if you get there, you have it, and that becomes less important towards the late game when characters are regularly doing over 6,000 damage over the course of a round.
Exactly. It doesn't scale. So it's a hard investment, you know.
Mhm.
Whereas cyborgs do have that ultimate, you know.
You are not
They-
going to
they-
sell me on cyborgs. You are
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
okay, let me pitch to you why the furry buff, even though it is weak, is better than cyborgs. Because the furries are other things. You can have furry warriors, you can have furry hunters, you can build into something else from the furry comp. Whereas if you're building into cyborgs, the only thing they are is engineers, which is useless, so there's no flexibility.
yeah, absolutely. And you have to get to level 8 in that comp because you can't
Yeah.
even get a legendary until, you know, it's just not worth the risk, you know. Like the reward's good, but it's not
Cyborgs
worth the risk.
are bad.
One Rain over here, he's finally got this
Speaking of
beast
things
buff
that are
going.
bad, One Rain, 25 HP.
Yeah, it's looking bad. It's not looking good for him. This I mean, he's got the 50 gold roll that I like to say, so he's going to be hopefully he's going to start leveling up.
He went under it. He just burned
Yeah,
under it.
he did just go under it a little bit, and he did it to pick up a warlock, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
he's just.
that wasn't.
I think he's
yeah,
feeling
got-
desperate.
Yeah,
He just burned enough to get more characters on the board. So he's just desperate because he knows at 25 HP, one more loss puts him off the board. He does now have 7, matching him with Vital, but he's playing Komodo, who's been doing real well. You can see those backline hunters just chipping away throughout the course of this. And it doesn't look like One Rain has an answer. His Witch Doctor healing was good, but it just got
He's gonna take a
overwhelmed.
lot of
That's
damage here.
12 HP left on him.
Ooh, yeah, and he just took 13, so one more of those rounds, and he's out of this game. You know, like kind of my like favorite player of this game. You know, Yikes and Jordy have been doing good as a duo, so they've been helping each other out. But I thought One Rain was like managing his economy. Maybe he was managing a little too much. You know, that's the skill here, right? Like you want to get 50 gold, but maybe he should have spent his gold earlier. You know, maybe he should have been leveling up.
Well,
You know,
it feels like he's just gotten real stiffed on the draws, because if you look, like, he doesn't have a whole lot of anything. He has a little bit of everything, which is alright during the early game, but he only got that during the mid-game, which is when people are really trying to start specializing. It looks like what he's turned towards is this Beast Warlock comp, which is real good. You can just overwhelm people with a ton of life-stealing minions on the board. But he didn't get there in time. He's got to start getting those good beast rolls, start that lifesteal adding up over long-term matches, and it's not going that way. And with 12 HP, if he can't win this round, it could be it. The Nightingale's doing a lot of good work for him, but it's not enough, and I think this might be game. One Rain, second place in several of the matches so far, now knocked out in the 14th minute.
He was actually suffering from a small glitch in this game. He had the double beast, he had the double druid buff, but his witch doctor wasn't able to level up. You have to take the witch doctor out and then put him back in to make sure he leveled up. So if you saw, he had one witch doctor on his bench.
He
and
could have made
one
a
in the
3-star,
game.
couldn't he?
Well, at least he could have had two stars on the board. He had one 1-star, and he didn't have the 4 druids, but he had 2 druids, so he could have upgraded. But that was unfortunate. I don't think that would have like really kept him in the game, but it was an unfortunate for him. So man with the glass is gonna have to hold on by himself.
I'm looking at Komodo here because their team has been kind of real steady, and they've been winning all these last few matches despite his kind of low HP. And I wanted to see what was going on, why that turn had happened, and it's because Komodo got the Rider buff going. He got Rider into Hunter at almost exactly the same time. He also has the Undead buff going, powering up his Famine by knocking down that armor as a passive, and the Dragon buff going for the extra mana on his dragons. So, like, this is actually a real good comp Komodo's on. You were talking about Man with Glass and Inri, though. They were at the top of the cards. They're now near the bottom. Is anything drawing your eye there?
The thing is, like Man with Glass is left with a 2-star Witch Doctor and the 2-star Ice Tusk. That, if you remember, we were talking like those are those early game units you get rid of. So like, he's gonna have to work with these early game units the entire rest of the game because One Rain can't switch those out. So he's in a very dire situation right now.
Because his partner
His
died.
partner is effectively
Yeah.
not helping him.
Because his partner died, he has 2 less effective units than everyone else on the cards.
Yeah. So
Uh,
so that's not good.
Let's
And
if we
Nori
can-
too doesn't have any real buffs going as well, so he's
Uh-huh.
gonna just keep getting rocked basically. I don't know
Let's-
if his partner can even help him.
Let's unpack Inri, because as you draw the attention towards, he is having a real rough time. This is full Sorcerer currently, which sounds real nice on paper, but he has no front line. So, anyone will just run him over.
His partner isn't giving him like the furry buff. Like his partner could give him the furry buff, but he's giving him, I don't know, maybe he needs it for the sorcerer buff, but I think he needs he needs a little bit of a front line more than, you know, that goblin for the sorcerer buff.
Ooh, that Nightingale.
Looks like he's holding to. Oh, did he get the 3-star
was-
Frost Lotus?
He was holding until that Nightingale came through. He does have the 3-star Frost Lotus, though, as you point out. That'll do some big damage, but it's not enough. And now a lot of damage comes through against him. Just 28 HP on Inri. Man with Glass, in the meantime, continued to suffer, now at 15.
There we go. And then hopefully he gets the furry buff from his partner now. So he's gonna swap in the Moonlight Dragon for one of his famine, but his partner is still gonna leave him. So this is what I'm talking about with communication. You need to be able to say like right away that like, oh, sorcerer buff is good now. Like swap off and give me
He's
furry
still
now.
giving-
You know what I mean?
His partner, Viral, is still passing him the Totem Face, which helps with his Sorcerer buff, but he would much rather have 2 furries, so that he had a little bit more of a front line. As you can see, Inri suffers. Absolute takes him down a peg. There still is no front line. That's just 13 HP left. Man with Glass, in the meantime, is also overwhelmed, knocking One Rain's team completely off the cards, as Jordy and Yikes win strong that round. They'll retake the number 1 slot in this game.
Yeah, this looks tough. They have a lot of HP to work with too. Jordy and Yikes, that is. And with the way this tournament is going, I think if they win with this
game-
amount of,
If they win this game
Yeah.
at over 100 HP, I think it's literally impossible to catch them with anything less than 2 full HP people on the win.
I mean, I've won like 2 games with like 97 and 100, you know, but like, that's like,
It's real hard, especially when you're playing against other players that are as good as you.
yeah, we high rolled like super hard. It
Uh-oh.
was like, you know,
Komodo. This could be it. Still didn't have a solid front line. Tried to trade things out. Got himself the human buff for a little bit more magic, but... Oh, unless the Frost Lotus turns it, he does! Nicely done by the Frost Lotus for Inri. Saves his life.
one more round for him at least. I'm scared for his health. Like, I don't think he needs 27 gold right now, you know? I think
he's
he
got-
should,
He's got double rider, so that's gonna help. He has a little bit more of a front line. You think he
Yeah.
should be burning his crystal, though?
I don't know. I guess maybe. I
is.
mean, like the thing is, his partner needs to just give him different units. Like,
Come on. Viral needs to be giving him, Inri a little bit more of a front line. Here's
if
Absolute
he
to
just-
face him. You can see the mage damage coming through. This time it adds up. The 2 riders, it feels like, have finally kind of tipped the scales. Inri now is scaling into the late game. So long as his front line holds, this is possibly the highest damage composition in the game. But he needs those 2 riders to be his front line, and that's real hard.
yeah. So, if you actually look, I think he just should be like, I don't know, like, running these mechs is like kind of even just taking up his space. You know, he could be putting in like extra like sorcerers or something. The thing is that the supersonic does benefit greatly from the mage buff, right? Because a lot of her damage comes, but I don't know. I just hate the cyborgs, if I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Not a big Cyborg fan.
yeah, I put them in around like 3 and 4, but like after that, we almost always sell them, for interest.
What does
so.
he do with this Siren that he just picked up? Should he be playing that? To me, that's wild that he's investing money into building a Siren right now.
Does he have an assassin or something?
No.
I'm confused. Yeah, he doesn't even have an ocean buff.
But he is pretty dedicated to building this Siren. He's now played it, swapping out his Famine for it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
He didn't have the undead buff, which I initially thought, but I really don't. Let me look at the numbers. The Famine, to be fair, not in his top card. Actually, maybe this works out for him, because he was not relying on the Famine for damage. He just needs maybe a little bit more shutdown against enemy hunters. I don't think it'll hurt him. There's the dive from the Siren, and oh, it's annihilated. A little bit of damage against the hunters, though. That draws attention away, buys more time for the backline mages to get their abilities off. That might be able to save him here against Komodo. There's another cast of the Void, and I think he's got the round if the Frost Lotus comes through. This is real rough, but 3-star against 2-star. Surely, no! 11 HP.
That Cavalier in the 1v2 is super strong, super strong. But just a little thing, like, I think Inori's like, oh, that's gonna be a nice buff. That mage buff with the Terminator he just put in, the Terminator does absurd AoE damage, and then magic damage, absurd AoE magic damage, right? So the mage buff is gonna make them minus. But the thing is, it's Viral that needs to help his teammate. He needs to be looking at the map and seeing that.
You're still not a fan of Viral's swamp.
And I mean, and at the same time, Inori should be putting in the 3-star Lotus to his teammate as well. So, you're always changing.
Works, oh, maybe not. I speak too soon. The Supersonic needs to save the day, and it can't. Jordy comes out on top. That's a kill confirmed. Absolute also struggling. He goes down to Viral. And just like that, we're suddenly in a completely different field. Komodo, the last player alive from his team with Absolute. Viral, the last player alive from his team with Inri, meaning that Jordy and Yikes are yet again the final 2-man team still up. They are in second place. Viral's doing pretty well, but this is going to be hard for him. Let's keep our eyes on Komodo, who's currently in that final slot.
So what I want to be looking at this time is, like, the people who are out, you need to look at what units they're getting from their teammates. Cause Viral and Komodo can fight Yikes and Jordy fine, but Viral doesn't. Basically, the other thing is, like, giving sorcerers to your teammate is, like, really rough, because sorcerers are, like, very positioning based. It's one of the hardest, like, classes to run, and when you get it from your teammate, it just puts it on the board. You don't get to position your sorcerers behind your backline. So even though he's above right now, like, I think that's really gonna start affecting him like later. I'm talking like 5 to 6 rounds. Around round 30. But I don't know. He is doing good. So maybe those are just strong units.
Yeah, Komodo just shut down again, and this means that Jordy and Yikes are actually the lowest average HP of any of the teams, which is beginning to be a worrying sign for them, surely.
Here's the other thing that we've got to remember. I want you to take a look at the Berserker.
He gets a 2-star Cavalier on the board. If I'm not mistaken, that gives him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buffs, and the 6-star Assassin buff. So that should be real good. There's the Assassin dive coming through. You can see those crits just demolishing Viral's line. You can see the AoE damage in Answer is real threatening, but now that he's got that 6 Assassin buff, he is just doing so much. Poor Viral eats a ton.
That Sword Dancer, the Sword Dancer in the middle of his board is the best unit in the game.
Yeah.
Yes. And then he has... So it's debatable by itself, like 1-star, because it's a little weak, but he's the 3 elf buff, which undoubtedly makes it the best unit in the game.
Ooh.
Now that it's 2-star, it's basically over.
But
That
but
champ
his
is
teammate,
insane.
Yikes, 5 HP. Poor Yikes
And then
is
he gets.
barely in this game.
All right, so this is what I want to see Yikes do. This is an advanced strategy, but like Yikes is out of this game. Like he is not gonna be bringing his teammate on. So what he needs to do is you need to dump all of your items onto your 2 units you're gonna give to your ally, and then you just search for what you can in this next round, right? Because technically it was a PVE round, so he had extra time. Because
He is
PVE,
already sending a 3-star though, right? Isn't that
yeah.
enough? 'Cause
But
he
the
wouldn't
thing is
realistically
that
be able to. Now he will. That's 2 3-stars sent. There's nothing more he can do, right? There's no point him committing suicide unproductively.
I'm looking and he hasn't actually put any items on any other champions, so it's not gonna change it too much. So I think in this situation, yeah, he's probably fine.
That's a good strat if you don't already have 2 3-stars to send. But in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
situation,
exactly.
he's already got the 2 3-stars out. It may not change the result either. Komodo absolutely wrecking here. That lightweight front line gets demolished. Now it's just the backline druids to try and hold. You can see a lot of pets on the board. Maybe try and turn that, but it won't happen. Yikes is gone.
He takes down Komodo though, with a lot of HP, 16 health off of Komodo before Yikes goes out of the game. So you know he's still doing work for his partner as he dies. You know.
And this is important because, again, the scoring mechanism for this tournament is how much HP you have left over after you finish. The Geordie Yikes team currently at 97 points. Sure, you'll get points on the board if you win this game, but none of these players are poised to challenge that.
But I'm much more excited because this was looking like we were basically ending in game 3 at the start. You know, we were a little worried about that Geordie Yikes, you know, getting themselves an extra 100 points right off this 3rd game and making it nearly impossible. So now this, you know, I don't want to like stop talking about this one, but we have another game, you know, so we can still be excited. So
Komodo, I'll watch from his POV. He's holding strong on his screen. It looks like defensively he's stayed up, but Viral goes down. That means it's a 1v1. Geordie does lose on his screen. Maybe Blade Dancer's insane, but he does lose. That's 15 HP. Him and Komodo in a battle to the death. We'll watch from Komodo's point of view.
All right, so what we need to be looking at now is like how you're positioning your units. Because like this is everything. Like now that you're able to see your opponent's board, you should be like making sure your units are like hitting the correct units. Because like there's quite a bit of skill that's involved here. I don't see too many things that can change too much, but I guess I kind of just talked out of my butt there, huh? But in general, you know,
there's
you
a
want to be
cluster
looking.
here. The Riders being used as the front line, and then you have the Terminator in the back line. For Komodo, he's relying on getting the Assassin dive in and being able to shut it down, and that doesn't work out. You can see the Assassins with that 6x buff from Geordie just doing so much work, and the positioning for Komodo might lose him everything. He's still got the 3 stars up, and those should turn the tables. It is all on this Blade Dancer. It is all on this Cavalier. He will go down.
He won!
Komodo comes out on top. Oh my gosh. Is that 10 HP left?
The Cavalier, 4 HP.
Cavalier.
He wins the game with 4 HP. That Cavalier, if you can position him so he actually the other co-caster Dominic was talking about cornering and how that like protects you because you're only getting hit from 2 sides. So his Cavalier stalled the game so long that he actually knocks out the enemy player. Oh, beautiful. That was actually good positioning. Like he didn't need to. That was great against the Assassins. Having the corner, you can only be attacked from 2 sides, right? So just superb playing from both teams, you know.
Komodo now on 10 points. The Yikes Geordie duo still in first place with 97. I apologize for the scoreboard having a little bit of a fun time there. Sword Dancer tries to save the day. Cavalier comes out on top. Komodo Absolute on the board. We'll go to a break. It'll be 5 minutes when we return. The final game, Game 4, and there is still everything to play for. Komodo needs about 80 points in their bank, 80 HP between them in their bank in order to save the day for them. Don't go far. We will return in a few moments. the Premier Valor... No, it's not the Valor. The Premier Gaming Co-op Invitational, presented by Premier Gaming. Wow. I was about to say Premier Valor League, Devil, and that's not quite right.
Yeah, a little different game, but, you know.
We're into
We
it.
got it. Same company, so
Sure,
people get it.
it's cross-promotion. It's like the Marvel Cinematic
Exactly.
Universe, but for esports.
You're a
game
genius.
number 1 through 2 went to Yikes and Jordy in dominant fashion. Now in Game 3, Komodo and Absolute turned it back with 4 HP left on the clock as the time takes over. That is their 4 points. That means there's 1 game left, and it is still possible to overtake Yikes and Jordy. You have the combined health pool of both your players counting as your points, but a team needs to do so in a pretty dominant fashion in order to unseat them as the number 1 seed right now. My name is TJ, joined by Devil Heroes. Devil, if I have to put you on the line right now and say who's going to come out on top, is it Yikes and Jordy?
So maybe last game we were thinking One Rain, but I think there might be an unfortunate substitution here with One Rain. So my second favorite might not be here in the next round because of we're getting a little late, you know. But yeah, I think Yikes and Jordy are gonna clean house here. You have to get nearly a perfect game, right, to beat Yikes and Jordy.
Theoretically, you would just need 50 HP or some interchange of that on each of your players, right? Because everyone's health pool is 100. If you get to half it and you win, you're fine. Because you have 2 players to spread between.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen anyone above 50 HP, including Yikes and Jordy, at the end of any of these games.
That is true. So it's gonna be tough for all these teams, huh?
Yeah, real
I
rough.
hope- I've been enjoying them either way. I'm excited for this format. You know, we'll see where it goes.
I think this is a good demonstration of why it's entertaining to watch, if nothing else. We've been seeing a lot of very fun interactions between a lot of these compositions towards the, especially towards the later games, as I think people get more of a handle on the co-op format. You were calling out a lot of the communication between these teams, which was kind of interesting to me because I've played co-op, and I'll be honest, I'm not a great co-op partner.
Yeah.
So, I was wondering, as the far more experienced co-op player of the two of us, what are some of those prioritizations that these teams need to be doing in order to come out on top?
Well, even though this is some people think of this as like an RNG game, like voice comms are actually almost a must because if you're not on voice, you have to literally watch 2 boards constantly. You have to watch your own board and your teammate's board and somehow communicate, because the chat system isn't exactly super great, you know. So you really need to be talking to the other player.
What are the kind of callouts you'd be making?
So the kind of callouts is like I kind of mentioned these in the start of the first game. You're looking for like simple things like oh, I have 1 warlock now, like trade out that, or like I need 1 elf, you know, like you need to, because they need to be relatively short communications, because like if you're confusing them and saying like, oh, like what are you thinking you have, you just have to be like, do you have elf, you know, like, and if they have elf, you say like no more undead, you know, so like they take out the famine or something, you know. But you're looking to like switch these units out to get synergies. Like unless someone has like an extremely powerful 2-star unit, the teammate swap is really good for synergy changing, you know.
It does look like we have all the players in the lobby, so the game will begin momentarily. There was a little bit of hassle, I believe, with the One Rain team. Hopefully, they did get him into the lobby in time. He may have had to go, as this tournament has gone on for now an hour and a half. I will say, not to toot my own horn, this is exactly how long I thought the tournament was going to go. If you go right now to the events page this stream is listed under, you will see where I put my time estimate for the tournament, and it is exactly 2 hours.
I said you're a genius earlier, you know. Turns out you're good at math too, so.
I've had a calculator on hand for all of these point calculations because I don't trust myself to do basic addition.
All right, looks like we're starting up. If we can jump in.
We should be able to. So,
All
I asked you earlier, who are you favoring to come out on top? It sounded like you still were kind of on the Yikes Jordy train, just due to some basic calculations of your own. But if you had to say somebody to surprise them, who's been looking good these last few games?
I think that everyone pulled it together once they, because I think maybe some people didn't have quite as much experience as Ike and Jordy, but they've caught up fast, you know? So we're going to start getting, like, more and more quality games, you know? I'm excited.
We do have a hard substitute in, both OneRain and his partner dripping out. It'll be Jury and ATF iKill stepping in.
All right, we actually have the head of the Premier Gaming stepping in for us. That is a absolute pleasure. All right, so I just want to mention a thing, because of the way this format's going. I really do expect people to be leveling up, not on this round, but the next round. So we'll see how they use their gold. It'll really help because that extra unit.
Yeah,
is
we were
worth so
kind
much.
of talking about that. Losing a few HP in a normal match is no big deal. You were even drawing attention to the fact that that loss bonus sometimes encourages you to do that. But in this format where HP is your points, you cannot afford to lose even one round. You cannot afford to be losing those points, because in a game like this, where Yikes and Jordy have 97 points, you have to win by such an overwhelming margin.
Absolutely, yeah. So I want to see these guys, you know, stack in the early game. You know, looking for some of those champs maybe that, like, you know, I'm not too crazy about. So those early cyborgs isn't as bad as, you know, like we might not think, because you might get early points, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Yikes is running that cyborg engineer. Maybe he doesn't keep it till level 10, but so I just want to discuss something really quick. So, like, if Yikes had sold his Ice Tusk that round, he could have leveled up and then put in another mech. You know? And, like, what is the Ice Tusk really doing for him? So, something to be aware of, you know.
Maybe part of the concern there is just that you don't want to overinvest in the cyborgs, because nobody keeps the cyborgs.
Yeah, but the thing is that the Ice Tusk, if he had 5 gold, when I'm not saying that he needed to invest in the cyborgs. I just wanted him to get to the next level. You know, for more firepower.
Spend the XP. Spend it for the XP.
Yeah, actually, once again, like, nobody actually leveled up.
Yep.
So
nobody burns their
maybe
crystals for
I'm
the
wrong.
XP there. Everyone's still
Maybe.
at level 4 across the board.
Yeah, it's possible they know something I don't. But if they're so now, if they're staying at the 10 or 9 gold mark, I don't mind it if they don't level up.
Jordy
But
does it. That boy's been
Jordy-
listening to this stream.
Well, he actually just was able to get a Moonlight Dragon, so I think that's why.
Jury, rather. Jordy has a
Oh,
2-star
Jury.
Moonlight
Oh, yeah, good, yeah.
Jury's
And
doing
so did Viral,
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, the thing is, just because you have more firepower, like, if someone has a few 2-stars, that's still better than leveling up, you know. But if you don't have the 2-stars, leveling up is a good option, right?
Yeah. Let's draw our attention. I'm currently on Jury's POV, as he wins quite strongly against Viral. That means we should perhaps draw our attention towards that Viral in Reside. They did quite well in that last game. This time round, they've been struggling. 91 HP apiece currently.
That was actually extremely unlucky as a Viral. So there's 2 people in this game that leveled up, right? It was Jury and Viral, and then they both ended up versing each other. So
Anyone else who gets the win just by numbers.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for him. And it's actually gonna, like, stop his win streak too. It's a small win streak, but I mean, it'll be this. He doesn't start a win streak at least.
Yeah. You hate to see it. A few less crystals. Now against Komodo. Komodo already has a 2-star Bagnar in the front lines, but I think the 2-star Goblin Sorcerer is almost better if it can stay alive. We'll have to see whether that works out. You can see the Miss Supersonic doing a lot of damage for Komodo from the backlines as well.
Yeah, his like you said, the Goblin Sorcerer didn't the Totem Face didn't even get his ult off until like the game was over, and or the round was over. So that Goblin, that Sorcerer buff like turns someone into a fish for like 5 or 6 seconds. It's very strong if you get it at the start, because you know it's the same argument with like Firepower. Like they literally have one less chance for quite a while, so you can get the ball rolling. But his Totem Face was stunned the entire fight. Wasn't able to get an ult off until he died. We have Yikes with a heavy eco.
Ooh.
This is another strategy. So he never leveled up, and he's not losing too much health. So he's gonna really start scaling, along with I-kills as well. They're both going for this. I haven't really mentioned this, but eco is when you don't spend gold. It stands for like economy. I guess it's like a Counter-Strike term, but yeah.
This worked out as well. Part of the reason Yikes was able to fight up there, even despite him being down a player, for as much as we smack talk the Cyborgs, they are real good in the early game. They assign a little bit of extra shielding to a random player on your team, and they play a frontline with regen. Here that helps Yikes in spades, as his frontline held and his Frost Lotus had that extra regen.
It also helps that Jordy's given him two stars, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a strategy we've tried to run. It's definitely different in this format, but it's worth mentioning in duos in co-op. If one person is like hard ecoing and the other person's like constantly re-rolling, you can like offset the fact that they'll have a weaker board with the other person who's spending all his gold crystals. I'm sorry, and then they help them with like the strong two-star mages that Jordy's giving to Yikes, you know.
And this is working out. Yikes holds strong despite the eco. Now Jordy and Yikes are towards the top of the card. The first place, of course, is ATF and Jury, both of whom are playing pretty well. Let's get an eye on ATF though, because his HP is pretty low despite their good performance.
Yeah, he's at 77. Hopefully he starts to stabilize. So so like he's thinking about ecoing, but if he spent the 5 gold to level up, he would still be at 22 gold. That's the same amount of interest, and he could have put an extra unit on the board. So this is what I'm talking about. Like you never want to have like in the single digit like 3 to 8 gold. Like cuz that just should be spent, you know, whether it's re-rolling or you know, buying a random unit, you know, just little micro things that will really start to win you games if you do it consistently, you know.
I'm watching I-Kills' board right now, and it feels a little bit split in direction. He has a couple beasts for them, giving him a decent chance of summoning the pets, but it feels like that composition doesn't really come online till you hit the 6 mark. And typically when you do see full beast, full pet rush, you also see Warlock buff, so that you get lifesteal on those beasts.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is actually, what is Jury giving to his teammate? He's giving him the 2 rider bonus.
That's not bad. That gives them a little bit of the front line they kind of need.
Yeah, it's good. But this is one of those things where like I think I might have called for the Warlock buff there, to be honest. So if he ended up giving him the Voodoo Elder, his team would have the Warlock buff, and then he could maybe still get the Scourge anyways, you know. This is all like personal choices though, so I don't think that it's wrong, you know. It's just like my personal opinion. That Flame Caller on Jordy's team is an absurdly strong level 1 unit. I don't know if you just saw the whole team get destroyed, but the ultimate from the Flame Caller, it actually deals all the additional damage that didn't end up going on the unit it spreads around to the team.
Yes.
So early when every unit usually gets its ultimate off, the Flame Caller is extremely strong.
So to read the exact ability text, if the target of the Flame Caller's mark dies, the remaining damage is dealt to all the nearby enemies. So that gives him crazy early game AoE. I would argue better than the Frost Lotus, which is lower damage and overtime.
Yeah, and then the other thing is you like with the sorcerers, you always need to collect the humans because the human buff is the 6 human buff is arguably the strongest buff in the entire game. It gives
And
you
I'm a big fan of the General of War. I was talking about this with Dominic earlier. Are you on board with the General of War with me?
insanely strong.
Yeah.
I'm small plug. I put out a tier list, and he's one of my strongest champions. Like you will almost always put the General of War in. He's a human, and his ultimate, just like you were talking about, is a little anticlimactic because it should have a really cool name. I think they're
literally
missing part of
called
the name,
Light
to be
Up.
honest.
I think it's.
Yeah, exactly.
I think like it's bugged, and the final part of the name like doesn't display properly. The text is wrapped or something, because it's light of, and then there's nothing else.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's so cool. It comes down. It
is the most
just like,
anime ability in the history of abilities.
Yeah. Right.
This is really working out for Jordy. We've been talking kind of about the sorcerer comp. The major downside during the early game normally is that you need a solid front line. But with this double beast, I really think he's got it. And he's got so many of those sorcerers now to level 2 that it's really paying off.
And his partner Yikes is giving him that 3-star druid, which is
Oh, and he's got
that's
a
why
werewolf now as well.
That's why druids are so strong, because they have that ability to get like level 3 on round 12. You know, that's so strong. Just the HP pool alone is enough to put like a 3-star in 3-star druid, you know.
Let's give a shout out to my boy the werewolf, because he isn't the greatest thing in the universe, but the fact that he is a human beast warrior is so useful. Oh, look at that magic AoE. Oof.
I think the human beast warrior, the werewolf is giving him a 4 beast buff and a human buff at the moment. So like the 2-star human buff is very strong as well, you know, because the rounds are 30 seconds, right? So at 5 mana per second to all your allies, right? That means that every champion or every unit is guaranteed to get their ult off, like even if they don't auto attack enough, you know. So it's not flashy, but you know, you should remember that you're definitely gonna get your ults off.
Let's draw our attention towards some of the players on this card that are struggling a little bit more this game. Absolute drew my eye towards the bottom side. 31 HP currently. He's got a solid backline, but it's not especially synergistic. And already you can see this, deep dive from the Cyborg Assassin. He loses his Famine. He's going to lose his Dragon as well. And just like that, he's already so much further behind. That's 16 HP.
Yeah, that was a rough one to watch. The thing is that he's trying to run the Punisher buff, but you have to have 4 Punishers to make it worth it, you know. Unfortunately he doesn't have that, so that's why it's a very strong comp, but if you can't get there, he's also got 53 gold, and he might die. Like,
he needs to be burning that gold.
Yeah, absolutely. At least level up, you know, like 5 gold will let you put that Nightingale in, you know, like that would really help him stabilize, in my opinion.
That fight was split due to the dive, and I think that secures it. This is real rough. This is game. Poor Absolute. He should go down from that 1 HP. I don't believe it. He's fine. Nobody asked any questions. That's why he held Devil. You were kind of questioning it. He did the math in his head, and he worked out that 1 HP was going to be enough to survive on, so why burn your gold?
Yeah, he has the TI-89 right next to him. he just plugged the numbers in, plug and chug, and he's like, I got this for sure, boys. Like, hold my beer, you know? Even now, though, he could level up to 8 right now. I'm just saying, he could put 2 extra units on the board.
This is ridiculous. With 1 HP, just spam that reroll. 3-star.
Insanely greedy. Oh my
3-star
gosh.
on the Nightingale. Now he does have an AI round, so I guess don't worry about it too much.
Oh yeah, that's a bad call on my part. Yeah, you should almost never spend on AI rounds unless you have like a lot of good units in your shop. But you should never re-roll or level up on a PvE round.
But he does. This helps him. I think the 3-star Nightingale will help a lot, especially if he can get to that Punisher buff. But he needs to be burning pretty hard to get that Punisher buff right now. Absolutely.
I also
Not
want to
doing it.
mention something that like honestly I don't think like anybody really knows this, but so like every round you get 1 XP, right? But PvE rounds give you 2 XP. So he went from 3 mana, he went from 3 XP to 5 XP, which makes that level up much smoother. You know what I mean? Instead of having to level up 3 times, he just like we just saw, he only had to level up 2 times. So he had 40 gold that he can roll through right now. You know, hopefully he gets through all of it. I guess he
There
only went down to
was the
29.
roll. He did get another level and a backline elf hunter into the cards. Maybe that'll save him. But oh no, it won't. Not unless some heroic plays come through from this poor Famine. He's overwhelmed and Absolute's off the cards. So's Inri, dying at the same time.
Oh, poor guy.
Yikes takes him out.
2 people out in round 17. They you can actually see like how much Jury is dominating. He's at 97 HP. He's actually dealt 116 damage this game.
So right now the maximum points is 97. If Jury stays at 97 HP and they win, iKills literally having 1 health would be enough to secure them over the board as the winners of this match.
Yeah. I
Playing
mean,
at the
97
Yikes,
health would technically win them too, right? Like, I mean, tying for first place is kind of still first place, right? So if he holds on,
That's an
But,
it's not happening. Not unless
Oh.
this is the biggest play we've ever seen. Oh my lord, it almost was. I believed in that Templar. He'll go down.
very strong unit, that Templar. Yikes actually loses to I don't see, but he actually got taken down there as well. By Komodo actually. The last place guy just took down Yikes.
Watch out for iKills though. Despite Jury dominating, iKills has been having a real bad time.
Ooh, if we actually look at Komodo, he's now rocking the five rider buff, so he's really gonna start taking off here. I think he actually has 6 riders, but he's choosing not to put in 6 riders. That's questionable. I love the General of War, but the Dragoon
He doesn't
should
have
be in.
the 300 actually. No, maybe. I would have taken out the hunters. I would have lost the hunter buff in order to stay alive through that.
Yeah.
This might be it, actually. This could be game against him. He needs to come out big from this Nightingale, and he won't. 5 HP.
If that Dragoon doesn't come off his bench, there's something happening there.
The
Like,
Dragoon
yeah.
waits.
I don't know if does he know he has it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he
He's
could
got-
just play this Dragoon. It looks like a pretty... I guess he's just so sure that he needs the General of War, and he doesn't want to lose the Hunter buff. I feel like the
That's-
Hunter buff isn't worth it. That's, what, 25% extra damage on the Hunters versus full HP?
I mean, the 1-star sorcerer also sometimes has trouble getting his ult off, anyways, because of his like. Oh, he did end up getting his ult off, but the six knight rider buff, 6 rider buff. I'm sorry, is absurdly strong. You know.
It does. He survives this round. His Hunters stay safe in the backlands, do the majority of the damage. On 5 HP, Komodo's still alive. I'm going to turn my eyes towards iKillshot. Top of the card. Rather deceptively, but it's all Jury. iKillshot himself has 3 HP.
Yeah, so it looks like they can't get first anymore. they're holding it in here. iKills is yeah. He's giving his teammate a 2-star. What? Is he not gonna get this unit? Oh, that scared me so much. Last second he puts in the martial art for his teammate.
We're fine.
That ended up giving
it's an AI round,
Jury the
you know.
warlock buff.
We're fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I always forget to look at the round. My partner reminds me on every PvE round. We try and remind each other, but he does a better job.
All right. I'm a trust in Jury and Killshot. Komodo is in a far sketchier place for me. We're gonna keep our eye on his POV here. He still has not brought that Templar off the bench, meaning they do not have that. Oh, there it is. Oh, they did it. General of War off, double hunter buff, 6-man. Oh my God, you know how to please me.
And he's got a little bit of the dragon buff too. That really helps out the dragon.
That was the right shuffle.
Yeah.
But Jury,
he can really stabilize. Oh, he is against Jury though. That's very scary.
yeah, it's rough. Anyone else, and I would have said he had it. Against Jury though, there's just no way it happens. He'll go down.
He ends up taking third place though, because Viral went out on this very same round as well. Actually knocked out by Killshot. Killshot was actually knocked out Viral, so that was interesting. Maybe his comp has something. Wow, look at the units that iKills is giving to Jury. This is what I like. The 2-star General of War is so strong. The 3-star Marsh Lord, oh my gosh, those frogs, he starts summoning so many frogs and they reduce the attack speed of the enemy, and you can have like two or three frogs on the board, you know, after 30 seconds. So Jury's gonna be looking good, you know.
Yeah, real good. But
you have to wonder how
does he survive this? He's relying on his warlocks to do so. It won't happen. The Frost Lotus comes out on top, and iKills is killed. Jury playing now 1v2 into Yikes and Jordy. I'll keep on Jury's POV.
Now here's the difficult part. In a 1v1, you're able to arrange your board how you'd like. And you can always match the enemy, but what this duo can do is actually put their units on opposite sides of the board, so that like he can't properly defend, you know. They're gonna keep to their sides for now, but that's something to be aware of if you're playing co-op with a partner.
What is this as a backline? Jordy's just got that Miss Supersonic 3-star sitting as far back as possible in the corner. That's devastating. It does look like, despite them not really managing to address her, things have gone, oh, full salvo. This gets very dicey. Jury will come out on top.
That Marsh Lord is putting in so much work. iKills, I believe he got it in round 21, so the round before he went out, he was able to get this 3-star in for his teammate, and that warlock buff is so great. The unit itself is excellent. This is looking good for Jury. I wish he just had 7 more health.
Yeah, 7 more HP, and it would be possible to tie that title. As is, he's fighting for second, but it does look darn good. So let's break down what he's got. It's Punisher, Demon, but also Rider and also Human with a 25% lifesteal from Warlock. Like, that's not bad at all. That's real good, actually.
Yeah, I actually rated this Demon Warlock comp as like the second best comp you can run over 6 Riders. Because you have so much space to work. Because the Punisher Warlock. Yeah, the Punisher Warlock. Oh yeah, dude, he's for sure got this. There's almost no way that I mean, Yikes is still running cyborgs, DJ.
Oh no!
It's round 25.
He's got a 2-star jelly. He's got a 2-star guru.
So the guru,
Oh!
yeah. That was a cool interaction right there. So he had four druids on the board. So the 2-star jelly can combine with 2 2-stars to make a 3-star, right? But the druid only needs 2 2-stars,
Uh-oh.
right?
You've
To
said
level up.
star too many times. All right. Yikes for the hero plays. Jury against them with 90 HP. He's come out on top so far. None of these previous rounds have been close. You do have double cyborg still on the board. Look at how many 3-stars he has, though. If this doesn't do it, what does? Full druid 3-star stack. 3-star on the Miss Supersonic and his frontline Steelfest.
Yeah, that's a lot of 3-stars, and then he gets the 3-star Frost Lotus from his teammate. I wish he just had like one more sorcerer he could put down in the field, you know. Unfortunately, he doesn't. I think that might change things.
Okay, frontline damage from the sorcerers comes through. The Hero Warsword will stun up his backline, though, and you can see the Punisher just making sure there's no way for the Miss Supersonic to come out. I think Jury's got it. Jordy, how are you faring? He survives. One player left against the monster that the Premier Gaming founder Jury has turned into. I didn't think you were allowed to do this. Set up a tournament and then flex on everyone.
Oh my gosh, right? And but the thing you got to remember though is that Jordy actually won by 6 units on his board. So there's certain what that means is that when you beat them on your screen and they beat you on their screen, that means that positioning is everything. How you position your units can absolutely win you that match if you're in a kind of even board state. So now that we have this, I love this part about this game, by the way, that when you get in the 1v1, you don't have to check their board, you see it directly. Such a good feature, and it's not in any other in the genre.
Damn. Oh! I was about to call out the backline Pact Mage, but the sword came through for the Hero of War. That might have done it. Cavalier 1v2. Oh, it's a tie! Everyone wins. Nobody dies.
Yeah, so what can Jury do here?
It's just Jordy's back line, because Jordy has these mages, these 3-star mages just packed in behind so much beefy front line.
Alright, the big tech here is that Jordy needs to move this Nightingale on the right side. He's got to move it to the top left of the board because that Templar Knight is actually one of the strongest units in the game. So if he's able to put his Nightingale and it automatically goes against the Templar Knight, then the Templar Knight won't be able to use his ultimate because the Nightingale drains mana. So like,
oh, that's a good board state for
positioning.
Jordy. Good stun through. He's cleaned up the entire top left side, and his Druid held for a very long time in the back lines. He's got to have these mages come out on top, and it looks like they have provided. No! No! Barely short 2 HP. Jordy survives.
Yeah, this is close. It's exciting. Jury actually just sold a unit. I didn't see what unit it was, but he's able to get the 6 sorcerer 6 human buff. This, oh no, wait, I'm looking at Jordy's screen, aren't I?
Yes.
Sorry. So Jordy's got 6 human 6 sorcerer.
That's like
So
perfect,
strong,
right?
So strong. Yes, dude. He has the ability now to actually win this game from 2 HP. We'll have to see how this next round goes.
It's all about keeping the backline packed in, safe. We'll see how it works out as these ability casts come through. Good mage damage. Oh, that's overwhelming. There is nothing that stands in the face of that. It is just the 2 Liliths left. Neither of them will be able to get the kill. That's full mage right there. 71 HP on Jury to stand. What does he do in return?
So Jury, I want him to move the Nightingale. It's positioning and this is super important. The other thing that he can do, I can't actually see them back to back, so I'm looking at this, but the Nightingale is a frontline unit, so moving that up will help just a little bit. Everything else looks like it's in a pretty good position. He's got to keep it spread out
Why
like he
did
kind of does right now.
Jory just took out his 2-star Nightingale. Oh, no. Last second swap. I'm a little bit confused as to all that, but he does have the front line, the ultimate weapon in. So what was confusing me was he had the 1-star Lilith on the board instead of the 2-star Lilith. Of course, I feel the win state for Jory is just him getting a 3-star Lilith. If he does that, surely he's got it.
Yeah. So when you're in a position like this, you don't even buy the Nightingale because there's no way you can get the Nightingale to 3 stars, right? Because you'd need 6 Nightingales. That's basically impossible.
Yeah.
Your win condition is Lilith.
His win condition is to get Lilith. Jordy's screen, no major upgrades happening. This is all just positioning for the game. Should be noted he has 13 crystal in the bank, nothing on his bench. Here's the play. Frontline Hero of War will land a good ult. Oh, this is good across the board from the mages. The question is it enough as the Hero of War comes through for a second and third time? It is. Jordy holds on. 2 now facing. We'll have to wait for the damage report to come in from Jory's POV. 65.
He was pretty even on his side. So my advice to Jury, I can be wrong too. It looked like that fight, the Nightingale actually took so much damage. He wasn't really able to use his passive. She wasn't able to use her passive effectively. So that's something to be aware of.
It should be
the one
noted.
Thing,
Jory is playing 10-9. Jordy behind 1 in level.
Yeah, that's how strong that 6 human 6 mage is.
That's absurd. Here's the play again. No major upgrades. There's the dive from Lilith onto the backlines. That's certainly a real good RNG roll. As the silence comes through, none of the mages get their casts off. That could be game. Jordy loses all of his mage ability casts, and he still gets a few out, but the Cavalier's there. Jordy's done. Jury with 43 points swoops his team into second place.
And I'm just gonna call out Yikes a little bit right there. He just said unless Jury gets something 3 stars, sell everything, build magic. It's not winnable. So that silence and that general ult was just so big. It changed everything. And the executioner's ult also silences too. So things can happen.
That was a lot of fun. I'm real glad we got to do that. That was,
and
of course...
sorry.
That was, of course, the Premier Gaming Co-op Clash. You can find more information about Premier Gaming. There should be a little sidebar over the stream feed right now, which has the link to their Discord. I cannot recommend you go there enough. There will presumably be more tournaments because Jury won this one. I can tell, even though he came in second place, winning that final game just gave him the energy. There's going to be more. I'm really enjoying as well just kind of seeing the development. Keep your eyes on Yikes and Jordy, who are doing a real good job right now. Are you going to be playing in a tournament if we get another one of these, Devil?
Yeah, me and my partner are probably down. We were actually number 1 and 2 globally for a while.
Little bit of trash talk. Okay.
Yeah, my partner's
You've been
we lost it this weekend, but my partner's still top 10. He's been grinding. It's so much fun. This co-op mode is what's gonna make this game great. Like,
it is genuinely different, and it injects a little bit of team play into a solo focused genre. If people would like to find you, you've been doing a great job on the color for the day. Where can they find you on Twitch, Twitter, anything like that?
On Twitter, I'm devil_heroes GG. Twitch, devil_heroes.
Ooh, brand unity.
And then YouTube is William P. Ware. So.
Oh, And there's
Hopefully
the
we're
brand
getting
new
that change. Yeah, right.
You can find me on...
Subscribe, and I can change. So.
Oh, okay.
change.
Go subscribe to his channel. You can find me right here on Twitch at esportstj. Same on Twitter. I am Brand Unity everywhere. I'm esportstj everywhere. Premier Gaming is on Twitch at Premier Gaming with an underscore at the end. I hope you did enjoy today's broadcast. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to go get some sleep because I've got a flight to Vietnam to get on for the Arena of Valor World Cup. Not to humble brag or anything, but I'm very glad I stayed up for it. Congratulations to Yikes and Jordy for winning the first ever tournament held in Chess Rush, and may they have a long and successful competitive career. Have a great rest of your night, morning, wherever you're at, because it's been a long day of competitive Chess Rush. You can tell that these games last a while. For now, though, have a good evening.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day.